Hey guys, Dan here with another update on how high will Ripple, otherwise known as XRP, how high will it go? Everyone's messaging me about Ripple because I've been talking about Ripple since 2014. I've been talking about Ripple since 2014. I've been in it a long time, and I wanted to explain to you actually what it does and why it's significant and how high it may go, which I'll tell you at the end of the video, okay? At least how high I think it might go. First disclaimer, this is not financial advice. Again, I am just a crypto nerd who built the biggest Bitcoin mining facility in Utah in 2014. I started PCLaptops.com in 1992, one of the first .coms, and early internet adopter, early NVIDIA adopter as well. So let me get into this. So, a couple important things. Ripple itself is designed to power a lot of back-end transactions, possibly replacing the SWIFT system. Now, there's a thing called the ISO 222, and you want to look into that. You can Google that. And there's a basket of coins that you'll see on there: Ripple, XLM, ADA, Algo, Quant. And these, no one knows exactly which one that's going to be. But the crazy thing is, Bridger and I were talking about this 4 or 5 years ago, and it finally got approved. Monday, quietly approved, right? And this is why if you look at XLM and that, you're seeing over 300% gains in the year. And a lot of these tokens I've been talking about to you guys, because this is software. This is software that runs the financial system. Again, I don't buy crypto typically because, it's got a dog on a coin or a frog or a squirrel or a peanut or whatever it is, because that's just garbage and that's just pure gambling. And if you want to buy those, great. Just pretend that's your Vegas money. But most of the people I know that are doing the whole meme coin thing are losing their butt long term. Just like day traders. Day traders lose their ass typically long term, and they pay short term capital gains, and they win till they don't win. Just like AI trading bots. You're seeing all these people say, hey, I got this AI trading bot. Look, they work till they don't, and they usually don't work long term. And how can I validate this? Again, I've known day traders since the early 90s in all kinds of different forms of trading, from currency to stocks to all these kind of people. Same thing with like real estate, home flippers, which is not a bad thing per se, but all the friends that I know that have billions of dollars are long. They're long-term, looking decades out. And they're not looking for the quick buck, and they're not looking for the short-term capital gain, get rich quick. But the nice thing about crypto is there's a compression of time, in that we have blockchain, also known as crypto, AI, and quantum computing all converging right now. So I want to share with you projects that I believe are good software. Now, why I've been talking about Ripple for a long time, but why, I told you guys I wouldn't go crazy heavy on it, is because of their legal woes they had with the SEC. Because the previous SEC chair, Gary Gensler, really didn't like them. The Biden administration didn't like them either. And that caused a lot of legal problems for them. And that's why you saw it hit like $3 and something years back, and then it just dipped like crazy. And finally it's waking up now. And you're probably seeing a lot of people talking about how Ripple's the greatest thing. It's up, I think today it was up over 14%, and there's a good chance it'll continue to have a rise. And it may have some sharp corrections as well as profit gets taken. But the big thing about Ripple is this: if it truly does, in the US, replace back-end transaction and replace SWIFT for wires, that's a big deal. And it's actually happened in Japan on a big level. So again, the legal stuff is still a little bit kind of pending. It's not super ultra clear, but it has a lot more clarity. Now, something that's amplifying this is called the Genius Act. And yeah, it passed. Now, Trump just needs to sign it, but it passed the Senate and the House and all that. And the Genius Act is about stable coins. And I talked about USDC Circle, and you guys saw after I talked about it, you saw almost a 600% rise. And so those of you that took advantage of that and watched my video are very happy. And I talked about Bitmain again, but a lot of people bought it at the top and then it corrected down, and now it's at a more favorable pricing. That's Tom Lee's project with Ethereum, trying to do what MicroStrategy is doing. But the Genius Act is cool because it ensures a lot more government regulation on stable coins. Not a central bank digital currency, but stable coins. And that's really what the current government is and the Trump administration really like. They don't want pure government control, but they do want the exit and entry liquidity to be in US dollars. But again, publicly traded companies and private companies could issue the stable coin, like Circle. That's what they do. Now, a lot of people ask, how does a company like Circle, which has USDC, make a lot of money? Well, they have to now back with the Genius Act, and they're giving us some time to validate this. They have to have a one-to-one backing for their stable coins with real assets, and usually they're using treasuries to do that. And can you imagine if they can earn 4 to 4.5% in treasuries while they're holding one-to-one to back your dollar? Now, if they can make that kind of money, if they get $1 trillion under management, a 4% return is a great return on the balance sheet, and that's a profitable company, right? There's a reason why Coinbase, if you go there and you hold USDC, they pay you over 4% in many cases just to hold it there. So pretty cool. Now, is it totally safe as far as stable coins and USD goes, DC goes? Well, it depegged to like 86, 87 cents. What does that mean? Well, it means that way back then, it was like 4 or 5 years ago, it wasn't even worth it, 3 years ago. It wasn't even worth $1 for a second there. It dropped to like 86 cents in value, and people were panicking. Do you guys remember Terra Luna? Well, that dropped to 0. And people thought they could get these incredible yields, like 20%, and they lost all their money and got totally rugged, right? So let's go back to XRP and the price prediction. I promised you that. But before I get to that, Ugly Unicorn Hedge Fund, crypto hedge fund, is the fund I run with Bridger Pennington. We're doing really phenomenally well. The returns this month and this week have just been insano. So phenomenal. And we've seen typically what we'd see in a bear market in a year's return in less than a month. And you're talking less than a couple weeks. And we think Q3 and Q4 are going to be good. Fund 1 filled up almost completely, so we launched Fund 2. Now, the Fund 1 is only open to accredited investors or higher with a minimum of $100,000 deployment. Now, Fund 2 is for qualified purchasers. That means you have a $5 million net worth or more. But we have openings in both funds now because we moved a lot of our investors who are qualified purchasers, they're called QPs, from Fund 1 into Fund 2. So if you're interested in that, direct message me. I know the majority of you are not accredited investors, and that's okay. I want to give you free education so you can make good choices on your own. And of course, not financial advice. Talk to a financial professional, your CPA, your lawyer, all those things before you make any big moves, and do your own research. But if you are interested in that fund, just direct message me. Meanwhile, I'll just give you lots of information. So if you want a home game and do it yourself, you can do that too. Whatever works for you is good with me, as long as you're being smart about this thing and you're not jumping into like these trendy tokens with all your money. Now, does it hurt to have, some of those? Again, I'm about a broad portfolio mix: large cap, small cap, mid cap, micro cap, ultra micro cap, and even Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin. Again, that's why in 2014 I built that giant Bitcoin mining facility. I love Bitcoin. But again, most of the gains, the big gains, are not going to be made in the large, ultra large caps, or even probably Bitcoin as far as like percentage of increase. And remember the 4 levels I taught you about? I want to review that again with you. First, Bitcoin rises. It's level 1. Level 2 is Ethereum. We're starting to see that. Then that tends to rise. Then you see people start moving out of Ethereum into mid and other large caps. And then that's 3. And step 4 is small cap and ultra micro caps. That's where you have a blow off top and things are just crazy high. In the last run, you guys saw some crazy tokens that I was talking about, 100x crazy returns like that. But again, you can't be afraid to take profits there, because again, as fast as it goes up, it can go down. It can go down fast. It can go to 0. Okay. All right. Here is my XRP price prediction. I think if all things go well before the end of the year, there's a possibility, again, this is just an opinion, that you could probably see $10 or maybe a little bit more. Now, some people are posting $1,000, $10,000 XRP. Just look at the tokenomics. It doesn't really pencil out to that. I mean, maybe it does some magic thing that, you know, it does that. Maybe it gets bigger than Bitcoin, like some people say. But I don't see that happening. I like to work in a world of reality. With our hedge fund, we tell people we target, 20 to 25% returns. And we exceeded that for a couple of years straight, even during the bear market. So, if you over deliver to people, they tend to be a lot happier than if you over promise and under deliver. So I hope, Bridger and I hope to make our investors very, very great returns. Well, it looks like already for this month, we probably exceeded some of our target estimates for a whole year. So that maybe gives you an idea of where we might go, but no guarantees. All right. So, hey, if you find this useful, I'm going to ask you to do one thing. No, you don't have to send me $10,000 for a silly course on crypto. Don't pay for those courses. They're usually a scam anyway. But what you do want to do is, so we can help more people, and it's good karma to pay it forward, is share this video, comment this video on this video, save this video. Those are the things that really get the algorithm pumped up. So that's the action I want you to do. If you haven't opened up a Coinbase account, if you're a noob, go ahead and open that up right away and at least start educating yourself. You don't even have to buy anything, just educate yourself. Watch their free videos, and I think they give you a little free crypto when you watch some of their videos as well. I'll post the link again up in my stories for that if you don't have an account, and I think they give you some sort of free crypto on your first trade or something like that, and they give me like $20 or something. I don't care about that. What I do care about is that you get educated, you watch my videos about security, you research projects that maybe I present to you and you look for on your own, and you work smartly. And please do not borrow money or leverage to buy crypto. Crypto should be a percentage of your portfolio. It shouldn't be all your portfolio. That is crazy. A lot of people ask me, what percentage of my portfolio should I have in crypto? Well, age has a lot to do with that. If you're an older guy like me, most guys my age will put smaller amounts, 5%, 10% maybe, 2%, 1%. Now, if you're younger and you can afford to lose a lot more, you could increase that number. Some younger people I've seen have 20, 30, 40, 50%. It's getting pretty high. But again, if you're okay with losing all of it or it mooning either direction, then that's not necessarily a bad idea. So Ripple, maybe 10. If there's some magic that, happens, maybe we see it exceed that though. But I wouldn't expect like $10,000 or anything crazy like some of these other fake crypto guru dudes are posting on the internet. Those guys are scammers, If they ever ask them to send you crypto, your seed keys, anything like that, scam. So watch my previous videos, watch my future videos, but make sure that you comment, like, share, save, and let's educate more people. All right, you guys, good luck out there. And again, if you're interested in the Ugly Unicorn hedge fund and you're accredited, just direct message me and we'll be happy to walk you through. Take care.